Okay, this last video is going to go through some examples on how to name alkene and alkyne. I'm not gonna put the branchings in because I think that's way too many things at once. So I'm just gonna go through these 5 examples using the steps listed in the procedure for IUPAC nomenclature. Okay, so let's start with the first one, which is this one. Step 1 is to determine the suffix. Now, I know that this is an alkene because, first of all, it is a hydrocarbon. It only contains hydrogen and carbon, and there are some carbon-carbon single bonds, but there is one carbon-carbon double bond. So I know that it's going to be an alkene. So that's step 1. Step 2 is looking at the stem. So the longest continuous carbon chain that contains this double bond is here, and there are 4 carbon atoms in this chain. So I probably should go 2. So there are 4 carbon, which means that I'm gonna go with bute. There isn't any branching, so I don't need to worry about step 3. However, there is an extra thing that you need to do. So you actually have to consider step 4 here, because when you name this, if I just name this butene, so let's just change the color back. If I just call this butene, it actually is unclear because it doesn't tell me the exact position of the double bond. So you don't have to do this when everything is a single carbon-carbon bond, but if there is only one carbon-carbon double bond present, you do have to indicate the position of this. So I can't call it butene, and I actually have to indicate where the double bond is. So I'm going to have to number the carbon chain. In this case, it doesn't matter which end you start because I think you get the same number either way. So the carbon-carbon double bond is between number 2 and number 3. So when you name the molecule, you're going to indicate the position. So bute, so that's the stem first, and then put a dash. So always put a dash between a number and a letter. Bute 2 in is going to be the name, because you want to show that the double bond is on the second, between the second and the third carbon. So you just need to indicate the smaller number of the 2. So that's one extra thing that you have to do whenever you have an alkene or an alkyne. So you do have to indicate the position. Well, unless you have something like this one. So let's start again. So we'll start with the suffix. So this is an alkyne because it ends with Y-N-E. There are 2 carbon atoms present, and there's only one. There's no branching or anything. So there are 2 C. So it's an eth. Alkene and alkyne needs to have at least 2 carbon atoms. Otherwise, you can't really have a CC double bond or CC triple bond. You don't have to indicate the position here because there are only 2 carbon atoms. So the triple bond has to be between those 2 carbon atoms. So I'm just gonna go ethyl. That's the name. That sounds very nice. Okay, next is this molecule. Once again, we're going to start with the suffix. So I look at this, it's a hydrocarbon. It has 1 CC double bond, so it's going to end with in. The second thing that I am going to look at is the branch. So there's no branches or anything. There's just only one stem, which has 5 carbon atoms. So pent for 5. There is no branching, so I can skip step 3. I do need to number the carbon in the stem because I need to indicate the position of this double bond. So I'm going to always try to start on the end that's closest to what is it that you're trying to number. So we'll start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the carbon-carbon double bond is between the first and the second carbon atoms. And then we're going to name, so pent 1 in. Put a dash between a number and a letter. Okay, next is this one. So once again, if you're very confident, you can just pause the video here and do it yourself and then check with my answer. But I'm going to start with the suffix 4, so end with E and E. And okay. So stem has 4 carbon atoms. So 4C is bute. there is no branching, so I don't have to worry about step 3, but I do have to number the carbon chain because there is more than one possible location that the double bond can be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I can name, which step 5 is actually putting name. Probably should have put like 5 here. So build 1 in. Just put a smaller than 2 numbers when you indicate the position. I think this is the last one. Okay, so once again, hydrocarbon contains 1 cc double bond, so this is an alkene. And then we're going to look at the stem. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 carbon, which is hex. And I don't need to worry about step 3 because there is no branching. But I do have to number the carbon in the stem. I don't think it matters which end I start with because this is in the middle, so it's going to give me the same numbering system regardless. So the double bond is between carbon 3 and carbon 4. And then I can name it. So hex 3 in. Okay. So that is it for naming alkene and alkyne. Once again, attempt these questions. There is a video for every single question. So if you need more scaffolding, you can watch those videos, or you can just attempt the questions first and then watch the videos, or don't watch the videos at all if you got everything correctly. Okay, that is it for this lesson.